Welcome back to the Hot and Healthy Show, the podcast where we cut the excuses, tell the truth, and build the discipline it actually takes to become the hottest and healthiest version of yourself. I'm your host, Maddie Bunker. Let's get into the episode. Today we're going to be chatting about my hottest takes, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know I don't hold back. You know that I don't care about people's opinions or feelings or hurting or upsetting you. I genuinely care about truly changing and transforming people's lives, and that's what I'm here to do. And I don't sugarcoat things. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's okay to be obese, that it's okay to be overweight, and I'm gonna tell you how it is. And I think we need more people like that. So if you get offended easily, this is probably not for you. This episode is probably not for you. This whole podcast is probably not for you. But I would challenge you and encourage you to continue listening, because it's good to get a little bit upset. If things make you a little bit uncomfortable, if I ruffle your feathers a little bit, it's not a bad thing, I don't think. I think it's really good to surround yourself. Let's just get right into it. Number one, I didn't even have this on the list, but I just thought about it. You should not constantly be around people who agree with you, who constantly are just always a yes man, always saying yes, always agreeing with you, always telling you it's okay to be lazy, to be out of shape, to be overweight, whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be health and fitness related. It is good to surround yourselves with people who have different opinions than you and are challenging you, because that's where you learn and that's where you grow. And I feel like as a society, we're afraid to be with people, or we hate people who have differing opinions, especially politically. It's gotten ridiculous, and I understand. I get it. It can make you angry. It can, cause you to have stress or worry being around people who have differing opinions, but I think it is the best thing for you, because how else are you going to learn things and grow from it? I have a lot of friends. Y'all know I am a very outspoken person about everything, but especially my political opinions and views. I'm not afraid to talk about it, but I also love when people challenge me and bring different things to me. I have a lot of friends who have completely different opinions than me in so many different areas, especially politics. And you know what? We can have a normal conversation and be like, hey, you know what? I actually disagree with that because here's why. You don't get mad. It's so childish to continuously get upset with people if they have a different opinion than you and just automatically get mad. Well, you look stupid if you can't back it up, if you can't say, here, this is exactly why I disagree with you, and have a cordial conversation with you. Like, seriously, grow up. It's ridiculous, especially politically, but whatever it is, if you have a different opinion than someone, you're automatically a bad person. How about you hear me out and listen to me without getting upset? So please surround yourself with people who are going to challenge your opinions, because I think that is the best thing that you can do, and actually be open-minded about it. There's been so many times where I'm strong in my opinion, and maybe I change someone else's mind, or maybe they change mine, or maybe neither of us change our opinions, but we're able to have a conversation and agree to disagree and move on about our lives and be like, you know what? I disagree, but I respect your opinion. We're probably not going to agree about that, so let's just move on. And that is healthy. That is how it should be. And again, we've taken it way too far to where you're a bad person, you're a terrible human being, you don't care about other people if you disagree with their opinion. And I think it's just the most unintelligent and immature thing that you can do. Started off hot with that one. Now let's get into number 2 is mental health culture has gone way too far. Listen, if you're going to therapy and you love it, I think that is awesome for you. If you are big into your mental health, I think that's great. I think it's so incredibly important. Mental health, because your thoughts are exactly how your life is going to be. If you think your life is going to be amazing and you're going to have an awesome day and you're positive and you're constantly practicing gratitude, you're going to have a great day. You're going to be happy. So yes, I do think that your mind is the most powerful tool that you have. Your mental health is so important. However, we have over dramatized it, okay? I think a lot of the time, therapy is someone who is sitting there and validating your excuses, telling you, oh, you poor thing, making you a victim. I have been to therapy twice in my life. I was in a very toxic relationship years ago, and I was like, you know what? He was gaslighting me into telling me that he wanted to get married. It's this whole thing, right? So I was like, I think I need therapy. He gaslit me and telling me that I needed therapy. Okay. So I went to therapy and I was talking about things in our relationship that weren't like great, but they weren't terrible. And she made me feel like the victim, and she made me feel worse than the situation actually was. Was it a toxic relationship? Yes. Was it not the best relationship? Yes. But was I this victim that was like in an abusive relationship? No, absolutely not. But she made me feel that way because she was like, oh my gosh, like I am so sorry that he did that. And she made every situation worse. And I think that is so unhealthy. So yes, there are good therapists out there. Yes, it is great to talk about your feelings, but you have to be careful because sometimes they're just allowing you to be a victim, and that's not a good thing. Being a victim of your circumstances is the worst thing that you can do for yourself, because if you're a victim, there's nothing you can do about it. If you're sitting there telling yourself, these are just my circumstances, I can't do anything about it, I just have bad genetics, I just had a bad life. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're correct. Now what are you going to do about it? Like, congrats, you won. Do you want a trophy for having the worst life, for having the worst childhood? What are you going to do about it? Trust me, I have every excuse in the book as to why I shouldn't be successful, as to why I could be overweight, as to all my health issues. But you know what I did? I took my circumstances and made it my reason to continue going, made it my reason to get to my goals, to prove everyone wrong, to prove that having other health issues, underlying hormone issues, metabolic health, hypothyroidism, all of that stuff does not stop you from getting to where you want to be. Does your circumstance make it harder? Maybe you do have health issues that makes it harder. I am not saying you don't. Maybe you do have a worse life, but what are you going to do about it? So stop blaming your mental health and also labeling yourself as this person. Labels have also become way too toxic. Just saying, oh, I have ADHD, I just can't focus. Oh, I have depression. I have this. Okay, maybe you're having depressive thoughts, but you telling yourself I have depression, you telling yourself I have ADHD, you are becoming that person. And I am not saying those are not real things. I understand chemically in your brain, people do have depression, people do have ADHD, but constantly telling yourself that is going to make your circumstances worse, because whatever you label yourself, you are that person, and you can become someone else. You can tell yourself that you are a successful person. You are the type of person who works out every day. You are a morning person, and you will become that person. Whatever you tell yourself you are, you'll become that person. So if you're constantly giving yourself all of these negative labels, that's how you're going to live your life. That's what your identity is going to be. But if you identify with something else, with something positive, with the person you want to become, you're able to change those circumstances. So stop labeling yourself as these negative things. Stop telling yourself, because of these mental health struggles, I'm never going to be successful because of XYZ. How about you make that your reason why? Make that your reason to actually reach your goals and to achieve those things. Because yes, your circumstances might be hard, but what are you going to do about it? Whew, let's get into the next one. All right, this one's going to piss a lot of y'all off. While we're on the topic of mental health and depression and anxiety, 99.9% of people could probably fix their depression and anxiety through diet and exercise. I truly believe that so many people are struggling with depression, anxiety, even ADHD, because of the foods that we're putting into our body and because we're not moving. Of course you're depressed because you're not exercising every day. Of course you have anxiety because you're not taking care of your body. Of course you have ADHD. Of course you have all these mental health issues because you're putting terrible foods into your body and you're not moving your body every single day. The foods that are normalized in America are terrible for you. They literally are messing with your brain chemicals, making you unhealthy, making you not only overweight and gain weight, but also messing with your mental clarity, with your brain fog. There are so many studies out there talking about how in children, ADHD rates are getting higher, ADD, anxiety, depression, all of that stuff because of the foods that we're eating. And so I guarantee you, I have had hundreds of clients get off of anxiety, depression medication because they started taking care of their body and they started moving their body more. They started getting in the sunshine every single day. And I guarantee you, if you are not exercising every single day, if you are not putting good foods into your body, if you're not getting out in the sun every single day, of course you're going to be depressed. Of course you're going to be sad. You're not going to be able to focus. And so changing that can literally do more than the medication. The medication has a lot of negative side effects. There's no negative side effects for putting clean foods into your body. There's no negative side effects for going outside in the sunshine. And everyone's going to come for me and say, oh, you can get skin cancer, you can get this, you can get that. Stop being so dramatic. You should be more worried about medication and putting terrible foods into your body than you should be about the sun. God gave us the sun and it is good for you. It is healing, I promise you. All of the people with skin cancer, they were eating terrible, they had seed oils, and they were in the sun too much. Of course, if you're in the sun all day, every day, you're gonna burn, wear sunscreen, whatever. But the sun is not bad, and we need to stop demonizing it because it is one of the most healing things. I guarantee if anyone who is dealing with depressive thoughts, and I understand it's hard to get out of that cycle when you are so sad and when you're depressed and when you are in that cycle of just not wanting to get out of bed, being lazy, it's so hard to get out of it. But if you just start so small, start getting in movement, start walking, literally start walking and putting better foods into your body, whole foods that come from the earth that God gave us, that right there is going to heal you better than any medication ever could. And I can't wait for the hate comments that come from talking about that. The next hot take that I have is comparison can actually be a good thing. I need a drink of water. And listen, I understand comparison can be the thief of joy 1000%, especially with social media today. You're only seeing a highlight reel. I get it. I try and be real on Instagram, but I do post the good stuff mostly because that's just what we do. It's a highlight reel. I understand comparison can be the thief of joy 1000%, and I get stuck in that cycle as well of comparing myself, of scrolling on social media and seeing people's highlight reels. I get it. However, if you are looking at someone who has something you want, you can compare yourself in a good way and think, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it too. How did they get there? And so looking at someone's life as inspiration, right? Instead of obviously comparing in a negative light, how about you look at that and be like, okay, how did they get there? Let's reverse engineer it, because if they can have it, why can't I have it? And I feel like that's exactly how I've gotten to where I am today. And trust me, I'm not perfect. There's so many other goals and aspirations that I have in life, but everything that I have accomplished, I've seen other people do it. And if they can do it, why can't I do it? They're just human beings too. And so, yeah, there are times where I do compare myself to people and I think, you know what? I'm comparing. I want to be that. So why don't I just achieve what they have achieved? And so comparing yourself in a good light, and you have to have a positive mindset around it, can be a good thing, using it as inspiration. On the topic of losing weight and body positivity, body positivity is so incredibly unhealthy. And I'm not talking about, body positivity is seriously one of the unhealthiest trends in our society today, because it is not okay to be overweight. And I'm not saying you have to look a certain way or be absolutely shredded by any means, but when you carry too much body fat on you, you are metabolically unhealthy. You are susceptible to so many more diseases, high blood pressure, you're unhealthy, you're going to have low energy. You're at risk for so many more diseases. You're metabolically, cardiovascularly unhealthy. So no, it is not okay to be fat. And we've just taken it way too far. I'm all for being confident in your body and loving yourself the way that you are, but loving yourself enough to know that you need to change, that you deserve to be healthy. You deserve to feel good. And there's people on the internet that are almost wanting to get fatter or have so much pride in being overweight that they don't want to change just to prove a point. And that's just unhealthy. That's just not good, because you are literally unhealthy. And again, yes, there is health at different sizes, but not to the extreme that we're taking it. If you're obese, morbidly obese, overweight, that is not healthy. Of course, different people have different genetics and have different bone structures, and they're going to look different when they're healthy. But when you are on paper overweight, you do have underlying health issues. You are not metabolically healthy. You are not healthy in general. And with the body positivity, I think if you are married or in a serious relationship and your partner has taken it too far, they've gained weight, they've become unhealthy, I think it should be encouraged to tell that person they need to lose weight. And I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, but I want someone who's going to constantly level up for me and also hold me to a higher standard. I don't want them to validate my excuses, to tell me it's okay that you've gotten lazy, that you've gotten fat, that you've let yourself go. I don't want to get married and then just not care about the way that I look. So many people get married and then they're like, oh, don't have to try anymore, don't have to impress anyone. First off, that's terrible for your marriage because you should constantly be growing for your partner and getting better for your partner. Obviously, I'm not married, but when I do get married, I want someone who's going to constantly be getting better, and I want to be constantly getting better for that person. And I personally think that's why a lot of marriages fail, because as soon as you get that person, male or female, people just get lazy. They don't care. They stop trying for their spouse. And I think that's super unhealthy. I think you should try to look good for your spouse and for yourself. But back to my original point, I think if you do let yourself go, your partner should call you out. I had a friend literally tell me that his girlfriend said, hey babe, you've gained a little bit of weight, it's time to lock in. And you can do it in a right way and a wrong way, but he appreciated that and he locked in. He got much healthier. He feels better now, and he is so grateful for his spouse for doing that. And I think that is so incredibly important. If you get offended, that's your problem, because if you have someone to love you enough to tell you that you need to change, that you have let yourself go, you should be grateful for that person. I think you should hold yourself to a higher standard. And I made a reel honestly, like a year or two ago, saying I wouldn't still love my spouse if he got fat. And obviously that is in a very extreme situation and over dramatic, but I don't want someone who's just going to get married and then get lazy and stop taking care of themselves. Like, yeah, I'm going to tell them if they're letting themselves go, if they're not taking care of themselves, if they're eating unhealthy, because I want my spouse to have energy, to be in a good mood all the time, to also be healthy long term. So when we have kids and grandkids, they can actually stay up and play with them and have the energy and have the strength to do that. And I want someone who's going to live a long, healthy life. So yeah, I'm going to call them out if they get fat, and that shouldn't offend you. And last hot take, this shouldn't even be a hot take. I mean, none of these should be hot takes, but our society just gets pissed off so often about nothing. Alcohol and just unhealthy eating has been taken way too far. And listen, I am all for an experience, going out, having a drink, or having a nice dinner with friends and not thinking about how healthy the meal is. I think that right there, community and health, is so incredibly important. But we have normalized eating like absolute dog shit and going out and drinking every single weekend. Like, it is weird when I go out and people are like, oh my gosh, why is she not drinking? Are you okay? Like, are you sober? It's like, no, I don't want to drink. I don't want to put that in my body. I don't want alcohol. I don't want to eat like absolute crap. I want to put good foods into my body 90% of the time. Like, it is more normal to eat unhealthy, fast food, processed foods, and drink alcohol than it is to not. And that right there is so incredibly twisted, because no wonder that everyone is like, more people are obese than not in America. No wonder more people are sick and getting cancer and getting skin cancer and getting so many different diseases and things, because of course our food is absolutely terrible. We sit all day. It is more normalized to be lazy and to not work out. Like, if you go to the gym, you're like, oh, it's like, oh, that girl, she's a fit girl, like that's her hobby, that's her thing. No, I just take care of my body, and that should be normalized. Eating like absolute crap should not be normalized. Going out and overeating, like, our portions in America are absolutely insane. Like, it is so, it's easy to eat unhealthy. It's easier. I get that. But once you realize how much better you feel when you're eating whole foods, when you're taking care of your body, when you're moving it every single day, you're not drinking alcohol all the time, you're going to never want to go back to that lifestyle, because it is so much better. And people are like, oh, you need to just live your life. You just need to blah, blah, blah. Living my life is actually taking care of my body and having energy and feeling confident in my body. To me, that's living my life. Feeling like absolute crap, not having energy, being lazy, being fat, that's not living my life. I don't want that. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Come on, bro, just live a little. Come on. Like, No, living a little is taking care of my body. So that should be normalized, and living should actually be living and thriving and taking care of your body, because no, I don't feel the need to go out and get drunk and to eat like crap just because I'm living my life. For me, going out with my friends and going on a walk and going for a nice dinner, that's living to me. Being in community and having fun, of course, is important, but constantly putting crap into your body is not. So, those are my hot takes. I have a lot more where that came from. So, if you enjoyed this episode, definitely let me know. Let me know if you want a part 2. Please leave a rating and review. It really helps the show. And remember, confidence does not come knocking at your door. Go out and build it. Catch y'all in the next episode.